Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome to Harness the Shift. I am Jay, I'm your host, and I have my lovely, lovely friend of 7 years, Moni, joining me again today. We're going to talk about love.
Yes,
What's
I'm
up,
back.
girl?
I'm back and I'm ready to go. I'm really liking this. Feels good.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like last week, I felt a little like, like the sound wasn't working out there in a minute. And it's stuff like that. People don't understand, like when it comes to a podcast, it's not just getting on here talking. Like you got to set it up, the lighting, in my case, because I don't really have great lighting where I'm staying right now. And so that you can see the shadow, but whatever, it is what it is, so you just
Yeah.
wing it. You wing it, and then
Yeah.
you just make changes along the way, and it's good.
We have to
It's good.
start somewhere.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
Yep.
it's all good. Doesn't have to be perfect. God doesn't want perfection, right?
Right. Yeah.
Where did that myth come from? That everything had to be perfect, right?
One of those
One of
programs.
one of those programs, one of those programs, one of those things that just kind of
Yeah.
an operating system we've been on, and it's like, no, just be you, show up and
Yeah.
be authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me, uh, I've been in sales, with my jobs, and it's always the hustle.
Yeah.
You got to work hard and you meet your goals, and then the bar raises and you
Yeah.
have to meet that goal,
Yeah.
and it never ends.
Right.
The perfection, that's always been the matrix, dangling the carrot.
Yep.
Very stressful.
Very stressful, and living in that life of survival.
Yeah.
When I was working in clinical research, traveling all over the country, planes, trains, and automobiles, go, 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 Monday through Friday, go, go, go. It's like, hit the ground running, gotta get this, gotta get that, gotta go here, and it's just no wonder everyone, not everyone, but no wonder so many people have jacked up nervous systems,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you're right. I definitely was one, or at least I'm not as wired as I was.
Uh, yeah.
Yoga has really helped me in my breath work, just to level and bring down my nervous system, put us back into our original state, which is peace.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think this is a good idea that we're doing this because it's the right time. I think the world is really, humanity's really seeing the world. Uh, Sometimes I'll go on social media, like especially on TikTok. People are waking up, like they're seeing the BS. Like they're going to the grocery store and now they're looking at the products. Like, I'm eating this junk,
Yeah.
and there is so much more awareness,
Yeah.
and I love it.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It is. You can look around and you can see that people are waking up. But then also, you can see what's not so pretty. And that's where we have to just be in that place of love, where
Yep.
we're in control of our thoughts,
Yep.
feelings, and emotions, and we're not getting caught up and in the divide, and in the, well, I'm better than them because they're that, and it's like this whole division, right? You can get caught up in it, and I just like to encourage people to be the light in that, right? We have to be the light in that, because you can get caught up into it, and it's not a good place to be. So we do have a choice. We do have a choice. You know, every day, are we going to, you know, participate in the nonsense? Right? You there? You froze up. Moni? I'm moving.
You see me now?
Yeah, you froze up just a little bit. I was like, what's going on? You know, I woke up this morning and I'm like, my hair is not cooperating. And then I realized it was raining out. Like, it's been really dry here where I live. I live in Happy Valley, Oregon, so in the Pacific Northwest. And during the summer, it gets a little drier. But it's actually raining, which is good because we need it. But it's like, you can feel the humidity in the air. And it's like, ooh, I haven't
Yeah.
felt that in a minute.
Yeah, that's strange. Humidity, you would think it'd be in Florida, but we definitely feel it here in Minnesota a little bit sometimes. But I'm
Yeah.
a Floridian and I know what humidity is.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, we're back and nothing will stop us.
Nothing will stop us, right? Little glitches here and there.
Yeah, but
Sometimes I'm like, you messing with us. See, you know, you don't, you know.
yeah. And you were saying how, not to get involved in the drama and the chaos.
Well, not that I'm not saying not get involved. I mean, I think that it's, you know, when we have the opportunity to impart wisdom, and it's going to stick, you know, like we talked about that last week. You can't plant seeds in, you know, barren soil, right? So if you, it's not about your ego. It's about, well, if I'm going to say something that's from a place of wisdom, is this going to land, or should I just not even say anything? And you know, you get better with that. I've gotten better with that in my journey. You know, at first I was like, you know what I mean? You just
Oh, yeah.
all over the place. But you know, moving on, you start to realize and you start to cultivate that discernment that, okay, you know, if I say this, is it really going to hit, right? Or is it going to cause more, you know, is it going to be fuel to the fire kind of thing? I think it's important for us to observe. I think that's a good thing to sit back and kind of observe, because we can always gauge. You know, we're just talking about, hey, you know, we can see people are waking up and all of that. And look, I can tell you, energetically, things are happening. We'll just say that. It's already
Amen.
in motion. It's already been in motion. It's all in God's timing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool to kind of step back and be the observer.
Yeah. Yeah. It, you know, it's
And
funny that you say that because I know in the beginning of this journey, like, especially because of my military programming, right? I'm like, and I'm always been that kind of like that fighter, right? And
ready for battle.
ready for battle, man, a warrior. And it took me a minute to be like, okay, I just need to observe, you know, like I don't have to say something all the time when I feel like I can impart wisdom and it's going to land, you know. And every time I do that, every time I operate from the heart and I impart wisdom from a place of love, it lands so good. But you know, when and you know, look, we're humans, we're flawed. So sometimes that ego, like, get him, and it's like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
like it's just being that, right, and then also having that humility to say, ooh, you know what, James, you were coming you were coming at them from the ego. So chill out, girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of self-talk, a lot of self-talk.
And you get to know who your audience is. Approach them differently. It's important to stand our ground. And it's no more hiding, no more pretending. We have to be ourselves.
Right.
And the way to do that is to really show the loving side of who we are. And that's hard sometimes
Yeah.
because, like you said, we do have been operating from the ego, and it's like a defense mechanism, or I'm right, you're wrong. And that's not a space of love. But, I'll give you a quick example. We were out to dinner last night with two other couples, and in conversation, they were talking about just things occurring around us. And my husband said, oh, Ramona just can't deal with a bunch of people, like big crowds of people. And they said, really, are you an anxious person? And I said, you know how I see myself? Like a little battery that's charged in the morning and it's full of energy throughout the day. And I decide where I'm going to pour my energy. And sometimes you are in a position where you have to give out a lot of energy and you deplete yourself, and you got to go home and recharge. I said, that's me. And they totally understood.
They got it.
They got it.
You spoke a language that they understood.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't have to go through all my experiences with, how people deplete my energy. No, it was just very simple, and they understood it. And so sometimes, the words just come to you. If you're always in a state of love and connected to source, source will give you, God will give you the right words to say.
Right.
To your audience.
So for some of the listeners out there, let's talk about what is source. What is source?
Source is our God. It is me. It's you.
Yep.
It's love.
Yep.
It's all that is. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Anything else, it's an illusion. That's really, to me, that is source. God.
Yeah.
Everything.
And it's like when the further and further away from God that you get, the more chaos that you have in your life. The more that you come into center to God here, heart center, because that's our true authentic being. We were created to be these benevolent beings that are loving and patient and kind and understanding and have compassion and humility. And when we are like that, that's when we are functioning on all cylinders, right? And
100%.
that battery pack is like charged, and it's like, yeah. But you get away, or you may get around folks that are not, closer to center, and you can really feel that.
Yeah.
You can sense that energy, right? And
yes. So God, the source of everything, the wholeness, it's love. Anything outside of that is separation, as you were saying. And the separation only occurs like in a dream, because it's impossible to separate from our source. So in this dream, we feel separate from each other. But that's, again, it's an illusion.
right.
So we're here to remember that we are one. And when we start to feel everything outside of love, we know that it is a fear controlled part of our ego. And that's when we start to remember how to come back and align with our source. So you have your umbrella of love, which many things, come under that umbrella. And then you have your umbrella of fear. So you have your love, God, source, and then you have your separation, which is fear. And then fear has so many things in that under that umbrella.
Yeah. And I think during this time, like we're talking about people are waking up, you feel that pull coming in, right? Where it's like there's there's the man, for me, God's everywhere anyway, right? That's always been. And I live near a big city. You live near a big city. You live near Minneapolis. Right now, you're during the summer. Summers in Minneapolis, and then you go to Florida, where we met, where I lived for
Yeah.
9 years, and so coming here, I can escape the chaos. So just get on this highway over here and roll up to the mountain, and it's literally just nature, right? And we just have to know when we need that, when our body is telling us, okay, too much, it's time to take it down a notch, right? Like, because you can only take so much, right? And
Well, yeah,
I mean,
the body tells us.
even Jesus flipped tables. Come on now.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's kind of what the Bible says, but who knows if it was literal.
well,
But,
yeah, who knows? Who
but
knows if
we
it
know
was?
what that meant. Like,
Right.
he
We know what
not
it
this to
meant.
happen.
Sometimes, sometimes you have to say the hard things. You have to say the hard things. You have to do the hard things. And, this whole thing about love as performance, right? Like, if you do this, I'll love you, or everything is conditional, right? And this process of like this awakening and taking this spiritual journey is really to learn that unconditional love that God has for us, but that we possess within ourselves, because we are the essence of God. We were created in the image of God. So there is no separation, right? And so taking that and really learning, like, to love yourself unconditional, to love the parts of you that didn't get the love that you needed, maybe from your parents, because they didn't have the capacity to love you in that manner, and being okay with that. Fortunately, I had great parents, but they had their flaws too, and there's certain things that I've kind of had to transcend because of that. You think about your parents, like my mom had to take care of 3 kids. That's big. That's a big responsibility. And my mom, coming from parents that were alcoholics and would go to the country club and get hammered, and she would have to take care of her brothers and sisters. Like, she stepped into that mother role when she was in high school. So, that filters in to your mothering or what have you, right? And so, yeah, there were things that, my dad was a Marine. So he was that military programming and warrior, and, fight and work hard, and all of that concept of just what we were talking about, like go, 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 go. And, I think as my father got older, I think he started to realize, no, that's not, because when we are going like that and we're being so hard on our bodies and we're not watching what we're eating, and all of these things have an impact on the avatar, the meat suit, right? This container that we're in. And we're here on this, in this 3D reality, but we have to take care of the body, right? Because that is our temple. And so all of that, and just knowing, that love is not about performance. It truly is not. It's to be unconditional, to sit back and say, hey, I may not agree with what you're doing, but I have to hold space for you and love you in a way where, I may not want to be around you all the time, but I love you and I'm here for you. But that's where the boundaries come in, right? And when we create these healthy boundaries, then we really set the tone for healthy relationships and not entering into situations where there's a lot of codependency. In this lifetime, I've had to break through a lot of that codependency because, my mother passed away when I was 28. My little brother was 22. My older brother was 29. And my father and the outside influence, oh, you got to take care of your dad. Oh, you got to do this for your dad. You got to do that for your dad. And, take care of your brothers and all this external, and knowing like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I've been a Rolling Stone since I came out of the womb. Like, I've been rolling. Like, I high school, boom. Like, a year after that, I went in the Air Force, and it was like, I have been moving my entire life. So moving for me is like, it may not be as traumatic for me as it is for someone else. And when you start to just dial it down and look at that, you're like, wait a minute, where have I been performing? Right? Where have I been? Because when we're not in love, that's when judgment comes in. Oh, you're not doing it right. Or, oh, you're not, it's not fast enough. Or you come into this place where it's like, it's this performance. And I'm not going to love you because, you're not doing it. Like, you're not meeting your obligation kind of thing. Right. And,
Right.
but yeah, the childhood stuff, it's like peeling it back, right? Because sometimes you don't even remember, right? You don't even really remember the things that happen until you get into this journey, and then it starts to come out from the hard drive. Like, you know what I mean? Because you put these memories back and they stay there, and to access them and you bring them forward and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, no wonder this happened, that happened, right? So this whole love performance. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think through the years of living in a go, 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 when we finally get to settle down, our nervous system is on fight or flight
Yeah.
all the time. We're running on just autopilot. And I noticed that when I started to learn about breath and how to bring my nervous system down and come from a high anxious level of anxiety to
I started
parasympathetic
learn about anxious
level of bringing down my nervous system.
anxiety to I started
Parasympathetic.
learn
It's so funny. I can hear the echo.
bringing
So it's
God.
kind of messing me up a little bit. But
Let me,
it's so
keep
funny.
talking. I'm going to see what I can
hear
do
the
maybe
echo.
on my end.
It's
Oh, God.
kind of messing me up a little bit.
Turn your volume down a little bit. Yeah, keep talking. I'm gonna see if you're hearing an echo, it could be just that you're getting a little bit of feedback. Turn your volume down a little bit. Yeah, keep talking. I'm gonna see. I'm getting better at the whole
Yeah,
AV
hopefully we
stuff.
can
Like, man,
figure it out.
it's a one show over here, a one woman operation over here. Okay, I need a little bit of what do you call it? Compassion. You know what I mean? Because it's like I need a little bit of sometimes.
Yeah,
Compassion.
it's funny. I'm going to continue speaking. Hopefully, this kind of.
Sometimes.
I don't know. Do you hear it? Do you hear the echo or no?
No, I don't.
Continue speaking. Hopefully, it's not on the doesn't record. But I don't know. Do you hear it? Do you hear the echo? I was talking about
I don't.
breath work and how the body keeps the score. I was talking and when we practice yoga with breath work included, and we start to feel uncomfortable in certain areas of the body. And you can really learn how to control or how to release certain tightness that's happening in the body.
Yes.
And I think it's really important to just embrace anything that's uncomfortable, because we tend to push away anything that makes us feel uncomfortable or uneasy or anxious. I think it's important to just embrace everything. Because the moment we start to reject and not want, we're going against the flow of things. And we really sit back and say, okay, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling a little anxious, and then we can think about what my day was like, or where my energy was going to, where did I put my energy into? And once we start to learn how we're feeling and why we're feeling this way, then we really bring our nervous system down and start to feel better and take care of ourselves and our body. Because love starts with you. I mean, that's number one. It's taking care of your well-being, of your body, of your emotions, and really paying attention to our thoughts that come up and how we feel about those thoughts. Because we feel it. We definitely feel it in our body. So you can find really good information, really great videos on YouTube on how to release any trauma from the body through basic yoga movements and breath work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning so much about that.
When you were talking about that, what came to me was you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
So it starts with us, right? Michael Jackson, The Man in the Mirror. It starts with us.
Right.
If we want to see the change in Michael Jackson, the man out here, right? And others, we have to be the ones to step in and do this work. And like full transparency, it's not easy work. And it's not, not everyone is going to want to step into this work in this lifetime. And that's where we have to hold space for those folks. That's where love comes in, right? This is why it's so important, because you can't cancel what we see going on that we're observing right now. We can't cancel that with more of that. We can't let that dissipate with more of that, because more of that is going to stoke the fire. But when we come from a place of this unconditional love that we've learned for ourselves, right, in the journey, when we come from a place of unconditional love we're that change that we want to see in the journey, meaning, we're practicing what we're preaching, right?
Absolutely.
Then, that's where we start to see the change. And I think that's why we're seeing the change, because people are entering into this, that's where we start to see into this work, into this soul work, which is like the most, hands down, the most important work that I've ever done in my entire, in this lifetime. The most important work that I've done in this lifetime.
Yeah. And it'll feel so natural.
Yeah. The most important work
Because
that
once
I've
you
done
pull away from the chaos and the drama and you center yourself and you are in your state of being, you start to not only feel good, but then you start to see the world differently. You start to notice the beauty. You start to notice more of the beauty of the earth.
Right.
You really, really do. And you start to notice that everything that comes your way, like a little bug or different kinds of birds, all those things, it means that you are aligned.
Yeah.
Like a little bug and or different kinds of birds. The more you live this way, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
And the more you feel good.
Yeah, it's you start to align with, you were talking about, like, you start to see things, right? Like, start to align. You see the synchronicities in nature. Like, God is out there too. He's within us, but He's created us, and every being, every bug, every spider, right? Like, I used to just kill spiders like, I don't do that anymore. I'm like, okay, you need to go away, because I don't, like, I have wasps. I'm not a big fan of wasps, and they like to fly by every now and again, and I'm like, keep it moving.
Yeah, when I sit on the grass and the little bugs start to come around, I just say, look, guys,
Yeah.
I just need a little moment.
I need a little moment to myself. Okay, you
Leave
got
me
all this
alone.
space. You got all this space. Let me just have this little imprint here for a minute, okay?
Yeah.
Like, just give me some space. You got all
Yeah,
this
and you
space.
said something about how
Let me just have
be
this little
be the
imprint.
change that you want to see in the world. And I think
Give me some
that
space.
could mean something very small to something very big. We can't change the world overnight, but we can change the little things that we come across, on a daily basis. Hey, if you see a piece of trash in the road, you pick it up. Just little things like that. Because any little thing that we do towards goodness creates a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And to me, that is, starting with you. And not everybody, can write a book or do a podcast, but those little things that you do on a daily, or when you have the opportunity, it's huge. Everything is energy.
Everything. What you put out, you get back.
Yeah.
And so this thing about, the being the change, and sowing, right? Sowing love, right? Sowing the seeds, sowing the seeds of love, seeds of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, showing the seeds. Sorry, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you put that love out, and showing the seeds. But you know what I'm saying? Like, what I do like to do, and I don't go out all that much because I'm in this cocooning right now because I'm still healing, right? So I had this other layer that's happened over the last 6 months. I look back and I'm like, wow, whoa, I wasn't even expecting that. And keeping my mind and my spirit focused on like that and not getting caught up in the spirit of lack, right? That oh well, or I'm not where I need to be. I'm right where I need to be. Okay, make no mistake about that. Like things happen, circumstances happen in order for you to have abundance in the form of time, right? Even though time is an illusion, there's things that you can do in that time, right? And I look back at my journey and it's like I've always had these little bits of, since this journey started, these little bits of time. Ever since my, I think I've been on my journey my entire life. I've always been kind of one of those people like, nah, that doesn't make any sense. Like the whole, I don't want to talk about 9/11, but I'm just going to make it, that. And like questioning that and saying, that doesn't seem right. Something ain't right with that. And, every layer of loss. And then the whole, like, I think it just started like with the loss of my dad, right? Like coming into that, like I think it just started like realization that, right? Like coming into that. Okay, now like both of my parents are gone, and coming into that realization, right? And like, okay, I need to do this, and I need to do that, and but also like realization, right? And like, being able to forgive myself, and but also for maybe not being able to step up like I was, because at the time, like I was exhausted. Okay. Like my dad wasn't doing well. I was plane, trains, and automobile. The job didn't stop because my dad's health was failing. There were times that I had to like change my plans, go into Ohio, not let anybody know I was home so that I could like deal with my dad. And like there were only certain people, like my friend Sarah that lives in Seattle now. Like she was one of my like go-to. Her and Jason like were there for me big time when I had to go home, because I was on the West Coast and living in Florida and going home and all of that, and looking back at that and how, oh my gosh, I was in such survival mode that, and all of that, and no wonder the things happened. I just like, you check out. You're like, man, I can't deal with this, right? Like, I remember my ex calling me and telling me that my father had passed, and I was like, I'm not doing this right now. Like, I literally was like, I'm not doing this. Like, so going through that, that journey and really having those catalysts, because that's exactly what they are. They're catalysts for us to grow, when we have loss in our life, or because that's exactly we hit a wall, right? It's not for us to give up. I mean, we want to give up. The ego wants to say, give up, and it's like, no. Like, it's not for you sit down and I'm just going to be for a minute. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with days where you just, you're in a bed rot, man. You just want to lay in bed and you just want to be. You don't want to perform. You don't want to do anything. And I think you just want to lay in bed and you just want to, this whole love thing, I think people are starting to understand that, relationships are being shook up right now because the consciousness of Earth we're stepping into healing and learning how to love, right? Because I think we all have to learn that, right? It's a process of learning, unlearning, and then learning really what that unconditional love is. And it's funny that you know, we're talking a little bit about like the parasympathetic nervous system and how that's always on this roar, right? When that's on a low roar constantly, it's like that's what causes disease, contributes to the disease, right? In addition to other things that go whatever, we're not going to get into that, but just that it's like that's what being out of sync that causes that's a contributor. It's not a causal of it all, but just that
When you're at ease,
being out of
again, you just feel good.
right.
And
Everything just flows.
you're not in ease, you're in disease. And when you're at ease, learning how to bring down your nervous system from fight or flight
You're not in ease, you're in
to
disease.
a state of relaxation and peace. It's
Learning how to bring down your nervous
it'll
system.
come natural as we start to come out of the drama and become observers. We can be in that state
natural
all the time.
to come out of the
Really
drama.
can. I mean, that's our birthright.
Become observers.
We weren't
We can
meant
be
to
in
live
that state
in a
natural.
high anxiety life.
Really can.
That's
our birthright.
that's what's breaking us
We weren't
down.
meant to live in a
Yeah.
But as we continue in this world, and
that's what
how do we become the observers? How do we break through the illusion? It's very simple.
as we continue in
When you become the observer and you know something just doesn't resonate with you, the moment that you see it as the observer and say, oh, I know what this is all about. I just don't consent. That's it. You saw through the illusion. And that brings you peace.
Right.
There's no need to fight it or argue with it.
That's it.
No, that is becoming the observer, keeping your peace and the love for yourself.
There's no need to fight it or
And it gets easier.
No.
Yeah.
And the more you practice this, the further away you get from the chaos.
And the love for yourself.
And you enter
And it gets
what some would call, fourth or fifth dimension. But you enter in a state of peace.
Right.
And the love for yourself.
And you start to feel well, your body starts to feel well. And that's, to me, it's such a beautiful way to love yourself, is just to become the observer.
Your body starts to feel well.
Yeah, and the whole concept
that's,
of,
to me,
being in that
it's such
observer
a
and
beautiful
understanding
way
that
to love
we're
yourself
already
is
whole.
just to be the observer.
Like, we just have to get back into alignment,
Yeah,
right?
and
We're already whole,
whole concept of
being in but we have to, bring that back, recalibrate, right? And
We just have to get back into alignment, right?
we're already whole. And that's where it becomes difficult, because
Bring that back.
while you're doing this recalibration, other people maybe within your family aren't calibrating
We're already whole.
the same way,
And that's where
and
it becomes difficult, because
that there comes that
while you're
humility,
doing this
right? That
recalibration,
unconditional
other people maybe
love.
within
I'm going to
your
hold
family
space for
aren't
this
calibrating
person,
the same
but I'm
way.
going to set these
And
healthy boundaries. There's absolutely nothing
there
wrong
comes that
with
humility.
boundaries. And when we have lack of boundaries, this is where we enter into the suffering, right? When we're not saying, okay, whoa, that's not, we're going to set a little boundary here that's not going to be working for me anymore. Things have changed. I've changed.
Yeah,
And
you know
I'm cool
what?
with that. Like
Yeah.
I'm cool with that I've changed. So now that I've changed, and I think when we do that, we set these healthy boundaries. It's kind of like,
Yeah, and you
I'm
know
cool
what?
with that. Like
Yeah.
I'm cool with people. You're a leader. So now you step into a leadership position when you say we set these healthy boundaries. It's kind of like, and then when people can observe this, then it's like, whoa. You're a leader.
Yeah.
You step into and that's what it is to really step into that divine love, because sure, God is love, but God is not love, let me, run all over you, or, let me disrespect you, or disrespect yourself, or give away yourself to people that are not on the same frequency and don't understand what divine love is, right? Where, it's all of these things, and which also has to do with the physical body and our nervous system and all of this thing. So this system that we live in, this 3D reality, likes to compartmentalize everything, right? Mind, body, soul. You got to go see that doctor and this doctor for your, for your, or you got to go to a counselor for this, that, and it's all, no, it's mind, body. When it all comes together, it was all meant to be together. It was never meant to be fragmented. We are not fragmented. We are whole, mind, body, soul. And it's like once you start to realize that, then when you start to take care of the mind and really being observed, an observation of that ego, and knowing when that gets triggered and understanding that maybe that trigger, and here's kind of my opinion about that, or I don't want to say opinion, my perspective about the whole trigger thing. I think that, sure, yeah, we're all mirrors of each other, like something might be said, it might trigger me. Okay, what can I learn from this? But I do genuinely think that, sure, yeah, we're all mirrors. There's just some folks that are just not nice people, and some people say the most horrendous things, and it's kind of like, knock it off. There's just some folks that are just and but that I think is just a reflection of that our consciousness has become, and where we're going. I think it's just right? A reflection of, and that's the shift, right? Where it's like some people are going to harness it, and some people are not, and some people are going to be flowing, and that's the shift, and some people are not. Where it's like some people are going to, and that's just the facts. Like not everybody can go. The path is narrow for a reason.
Yeah, I get everything that you're saying, and remembering that we're electromagnetic beings and living in a divine way.
Yeah, I get everything that you're
We
saying.
vibrate at a certain frequency.
That we're electromagnetic.
When we vibrate at a high frequency,
living in a divine
those
way.
around us that we don't vibe with,
certain frequencies.
they themselves
When we
will
vibrate at a
leave.
high frequency,
And
living in a divine,
it all
those
happens,
around us that
naturally and
we don't
organically.
vibe with certain frequencies. They
And
themselves
when we get triggered, we should see it as, okay, what is this telling me? What am I still holding on to? What am I attached
when
to?
we get triggered,
And instead of
we should see it
accusing
as,
or
what is it
pointing the finger at that person that triggered
what am I
us,
still holding on to? What am I
I would say, hey, thanks. thanks for the trigger. Let me just, you know,
what is it? Pointing
see
the
what
finger
this
at that
means,
person that triggered
how it
us.
feels,
I
bring
would
it
say,
up to
hey,
surface, and then let it go.
thanks for the trigger. Let me
But
just,
as we continue to live in a centered life,
how it
we will
feels,
maintain and
bring it up to
sustain
surface,
a
and
certain
let it go.
frequency
Thanks for the trigger. Let me just, as
that
we
you
continue
can't
to live
live
in a
around
centered
people
life,
who just can't vibrate the same way.
we will
It's just
maintain
naturally
and
will just kind of
sustain
go
a certain
away. And then
frequency
you're going to
that
shift into
you can't live
people
around people who
that
just can't
vibrate within
vibrate
the
the same
same
way. It's just
frequency.
naturally will
Right.
just kind
And
of
everything
go
happens
away.
organically. And those who just choose to
You're gonna
live in the
shift
drama, and
into
they're still whole, they're
people
still
that
divine beings. They're
vibrate within the
still
same
from
frequency.
source,
And everything happens
but they
organically,
are
and those who
separate.
just choose to
They
Right.
are
live in the
living in an
drama, and
illusion of
they're still
separation.
whole,
Right.
they're still divine beings,
And we shouldn't judge, we
from
shouldn't.
source.
Eventually, we all go to
They are
source.
separate. Just choose to.
They are, it's
living
like
in
a
an
stream
illusion
that
of
goes to the
separation.
ocean. I mean,
Still
you
divine.
can't pull
And
away
we
from
shouldn't
that.
judge.
We
Right.
all come from one source. It's
Eventually,
just
we all
some
go
are
to source.
kind of taking a really long detour.
It's like a stream
And
that
we
goes
just
to the
have to see it
ocean.
that way,
You can't pull
Yeah.
away from that.
and always
We all
remember
come
that
from one source.
when things are triggering us,
Some are
it just
taking
says
a
more
really
about
long
who we
detour.
are. It's like, okay,
And we just have to
what's
see
still
it
in
that
me
way.
that and why am I triggered by
Always
this?
remember that
And
Yeah.
again,
things are
we can
triggering us. It just
go
says
into
more
a full
about who
topic
we are.
about
It's like, okay,
compassion
Oh, right.
what's still in me
for
that I
folks.
And when you ask that, when you ask yourself, your soul, like, where is this coming from? Like,
Oh, right.
like, yeah, thank you for the opportunity
When you ask
to dig a little deeper.
Yeah, and you know
And
what? You don't have to keep people in your circle
no,
that you don't agree with or that make you feel.
opportunity
No, you don't have.
to dig a little deeper.
You don't need that crowd.
and you know what? You don't
And
have
again,
to
they
people
will
in your
slowly
circle
move away. You don't have to do
agree
anything.
with or that make you feel.
They will leave.
No, you don't
Yeah.
have. You
That
don't
is
have
your
crowd.
power. That is your divinity,
Again, they will
your
slowly
light.
move away.
Yeah.
You don't have to do
Yeah.
anything.
And you
They
do.
will leave.
I'm experiencing that. I've seen that,
That is
big
your
time. I would
power.
say
That is
over
your
the last
divinity,
year.
Your light.
I know.
do anything.
Over the last year has been just like
I'm
like
experiencing that. I've seen
I
that
I don't.
time, I would say, over the last
And it's not that I mean, there's been obviously consistent. You're
Over the last
consistent.
year,
My
it's
friend
been
Nora's a
just like,
consistent.
I'm
My friend Lisa's a
I don't-
consistent.
And it's not that I mean,
But
there's
even with
been
that,
obviously consistent. You're consistent.
she's on. They're on their own. You're on your own journey. Nora's on hers. Lisa's on hers, and we're all right where we need to be, and we're all not ahead of each other. And one is not better than the other. It's just that
You're on your
that's
own
your
journey.
path, right? And there is no competition,
Lisa's on
right?
hers. And
Like
we're
we
all
we
right where
I
we
think
need to be, and we're
that's
all
one
not
thing that
ahead
I
of each other,
have
and one is not
observed
better
from
than the
this
other. It's
spiritual
just that,
community that
that's your
it's
path,
like,
right, and there is no
you know,
competition.
this
right?
competition, this bypassing, things like that. And it's like, no, you can't bypass, this work. Like, this is something that,
It's like,
when you surrender to it, there is no going back. Like, you got to go through it. And the times where it's like really painful, like last week, I had a really rough week. Okay, just processing and really going through some things and listening to my body and knowing, ooh, it's chilly, and knowing that,
last week, I had a really
okay, I have to, let me just hold space for myself. Okay, I don't really feel like doing crap. I'm just gonna be, because I just can't even,
knowing that
I can't make sense of it. And then it's like you can turn and say, oh, like now here it is Wednesday.
I'm just gonna be.
And it's like,
Because I just can't.
wow, okay.
I don't even.
That's why,
I can't make
right?
sense of it.
And you can
And then it's like you can
be an
turn and say,
observation of that,
oh,
right? And
now here it is.
coach yourself and
And it's like
have other people that you can kind of bounce things off of, and
right. And you can it's like you can
be an observation in that process. Like, we don't have to be alone in the process, but a lot of it is that we are alone in the process, and having to be okay with that.
Yeah,
Being-
yeah. Physically, we do feel alone, especially when you're purging and you're releasing a lot of old attachments and you're losing things and people. You do go into a state of loss and grief,
Yeah.
and it's okay to just cocoon yourself and take care of yourself and nurture yourself in a way of still staying connected to God.
Right.
You can be, and we all go through that. And again, I said it earlier, you have to embrace all those moments.
Yeah.
staying connected to
I mean, we're still experiencing life here, and
we all go through that. And again,
that's how we have to see things, whether they're positive or negative. It's just an experience,
Right.
and embrace it and not run away from it. Because the moment that we start to embrace things, we let go of the polarity of the right and wrong. We let go of all of that.
embrace it and not run
Yeah.
away from it.
And again, then you just let life flow
We let go
and
of
let
the
things
polarity
take its toll and
right
its
and wrong.
process.
We let go
And
embrace it and not run
yeah,
away.
I do think that there's going to be times where
flow.
you need to lay low
Let things take its toll
and find
Lay low.
what works for you.
yeah,
Everybody's going to be a little different.
there's going to be times where
You're going to find ways
you need to
to
lay low.
take care of yourself. You know, some may like to sit in nature, some may like to soak in a hot,
It's going to be a
you
little
know,
different.
tub with
Find
some,
ways to
Epsom salt, or there's many ways to take care of yourself.
to sit in
You
nature.
know what's
Some
so
may
you know
like
what's
to
so
soak
strange
in a hot
is I took a bath. I think it was on
tub with
when was that?
ways to
Oh,
Epsom salt,
yesterday.
or
Not last night.
there's many
I'm
ways
sorry.
to take care of
Monday
yourself,
night.
to sit in nature.
I couldn't tolerate
You know
it.
what's so strange?
For whatever reason, like I was only in there 10 minutes. Like, for whatever reason, I just could not tolerate it. And I don't know why, but
Monday night.
because usually I'm in there and I'm just like
For
luxuriating.
whatever reason, like
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
chilling, listening to a little bit of Beethoven, because Beethoven is very healing, folks.
luxurious.
And I'm like,
You know
what
what
is
I mean?
going on?
Chilling.
It's very strange.
listening to a
So you
little
just
bit.
listen. You just listen to your body, and it's like,
Things
okay,
change.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here because I'm not tolerating it,
Yeah.
and it's not.
What's going on?
There comes a time like you got to know when
You just
in
listen
this
to your body, and it's like,
Things
okay,
when that
I'm
uncomfortableness
out of here
like
because I'm not
is
tolerating it.
it's okay to say, okay, I'm good,
There
or
comes a time like
the uncomfortableness, I need to go in,
this,
right? And the spirit will always guide you.
like
This has been spirit driven from jump. The moment of surrender until now has been spirit, big time. Like,
right, and
hands down.
spirit will always guide you.
And it's
Let
like
it
when
flow.
you go with the flow, and it's like, okay, well,
Now
there's certain things that I don't want to do, but I do them because, that's what I'm being
and it's like when you
instructed to do.
and it's
Drawn
And then some days, like, I think some days you just come to a point where you're like,
but I do them because
you're just kind of like, okay,
and it's like when
I just got to surrender to that, right? Lots of surrendering and
like I think some days
and that whole unconditional love of the self, right? And nurturing yourself and
gotta surrender to
giving
that.
yourself
Lots of surrender.
what you didn't get healing the traumas, things like that,
Full
and
unconditional love of the self,
and,
right? And nurturing yourself and
you know,
giving yourself
and understanding that
get,
people can only meet
healing
you
the
where they're at,
traumas,
their
things like
level
that.
of healing, and
Absolutely.
and also like even like when you start to have these boundaries and like you were saying people will end up moving themselves out of your life,
Absolutely.
and
giving them that
also,
space, like not saying that's going to be a permanent thing forever and ever and ever,
end up moving themselves
because I
out of your
think
life.
when there is a separation, people are allowed to grow. If someone is on top of you, that you're normally watching everything you're doing, you know, or being involved, like sometimes that stunts the growth. So I look back upon my life and different separations that I've had for the consistent people in my life, or people that have been kind of come in and out of my life or whatever. You learn to like not take that personal, right? That it's like everyone has to have a medium to grow in, and if there's like I said, it's not fertile medium,
You learn to like not take that personal, right?
then there needs to be that separation so that can occur. So
if there's
that
like I said,
place of unconditional love where I can hold space for someone and say, you know what, I love you on a soul level, but right now,
Yeah, right now I need
right
to
now we ain't vibing. You know,
Yeah, no,
I love you. I love,
Yeah.
like, I like to, I don't know, if this sounds, or if maybe you do it, but like,
yeah, right now I need to
sometimes I will talk
Yeah, no,
to someone's soul right there while I'm like, I'm not even saying anything to them. I'm like speaking to them on a soul level, my soul to their soul, and like holding space.
I will talk.
Yeah. Yep,
Even
that's
when,
all you need.
yeah, even when like in the presence, I don't like, I'm like, you know, I am in from soul to soul, which it's the most it's the most interesting thing, right? To just be in that space, to do that, and understanding that not everything needs to be said. It's the
Yeah.
most interesting
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. And I'll say one last thing before we
Yeah,
log off,
to do that.
that it's really, really important right now because there's such a strong shift happening. You know, there's these timelines happening where
It's really, really
the people who
important right
choose
now
love, we're
because there's
doing
such a
this.
strong shift
Right.
happening.
We're going
And there's
there.
people who just want to stay where they are.
Timelines happening.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what they chose, right?
love.
They're still part of source. But for those who don't want to live in this fear-based reality,
Where they are.
right now it's really important to
That's what they chose.
choose what you
Part of source.
watch,
For
what you
those who
read,
don't
what
want to
you
live in
consume,
fear-based
information wise.
right now.
Because if it's something that brings fear,
Choose
you
what
should
you
automatically know that that's not true and it doesn't vibe with you.
information
Right.
wise.
It's that
Because
easy.
if it's something that
Yeah.
brings
Always
And-
choose
you should
love unless you're
automatically know
triggered.
that
That's a
not
different thing. But
Right.
true
other than that,
and it doesn't vibe with
stay within
wise. It's that
the holding space of love.
always
And-
choose
That
love unless you're
will be the
triggered.
shift
That's
for
a different
yourself
thing, but
Right.
and
other than that,
the collective.
stay within
Absolutely. And
holding space
when you said something that I was like,
that love unless will be the shift for yourself
Timelines.
and
oh yeah, timelines, talking about the timelines and about fear, and something that I was like, when you're on this journey, and we're talking about the whole thing with frequency, right? And how timelines, talking
Energy.
about the timelines, so
About fear.
when I'm consuming.
When you're on this journey,
Okay,
and we're
like
talking
the
about
people,
whole thing with
and I'm
frequency,
guilty of
right?
it too sometimes.
And how
You know, scroll, scroll, scroll.
when I'm
The moment that you come across something and it's like it hits you below the heart, you know that's fear. That is not from God. Keep it moving.
scroll, scroll,
You know that's not God when it comes from the heart, because everything below the heart,
it's like it hits you below the heart.
Yeah.
right?
That's fear.
So it's up here or it's, you know,
Yeah.
right? And you know that, okay, or, you know,
everything.
okay, this warrants a little bit more discernment. Let me just examine this for a minute here. Or,
Right, and you know that,
not everything is real.
okay, or you know everything. Okay,
Not everything we see is real.
discernment. Let me just examine.
A lot of what we see is an illusion.
Not everything
It's
is real.
manipulation. It's all of those things that are from the bottom.
Yeah, keeps you in a loop.
A lot of what we see
Right.
is
Keeps you in that loop, keeps you separated, keeps you from doing
Yeah.
what needs to be done to move forward, right? So being careful of what we're consuming, right? And
right. Keeps you in that loop, keeps you separated, keeps you from
and that
doing
that comes with that whole observation, being in observation and knowing, okay, I'm not going to do this. And it may, you know, look, and unfollowing folks that are in that there's nothing wrong with that.
that comes with
There
that
is
whole
nothing wrong with that.
observation,
There's
being in
nothing wrong with us
observation
protecting our
and
peace, because if
okay,
you've
I'm not
done
gonna do
this
that.
work,
You know,
you understand.
and
Look,
unfollowing
I'm
folks that are
protecting
in that
this
there's nothing
with
wrong
my,
with that.
with
There is
all,
nothing wrong
all
with that. There's nothing wrong with us
of my
protecting
being.
our peace, because if you
Because
you understand.
it's not that I feel like I'm better than anyone else, but it's kind of like,
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
why am I going to ruin what
Again,
I've worked
it's
for?
all, it's all frequency. Where do you want to be?
Right. I want to be. I want to be up here in the Christ frequency, right?
And people can see it however they want to see it. Again,
To
it
be
works all- it's
to
all
embody the
frequency.
true
Where do you
teachings
wanna
of
be?
Christ, of love, compassion, understanding, and grace, because I know that if I sow that,
And people can see it
if I
however they
can
want to see it.
embody that
to be
and sow that into, then I know that I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm on the right track. Yeah. You know, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I'm just like, yeah, you know, yeah, it's interesting. So I think next week we should get into more about Christ, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about
I'm just like, yeah, you know,
look,
yeah,
religion.
So
We
I think
can
next
get
week
into
we
that,
should get
and
into
how
more
that's
about
also a
Christ.
way to
Let's talk
separate people.
about
What an amazing concept. That folks that might serve the darkness might,
and how
use religion to control.
What an amazing,
Interesting concept, huh? Why not? Why not? Everything else is, right? So why wouldn't we question any and all things?
Religion to control. What an amazing.
Why wouldn't we go back to
Why not?
the teachings of
Everything else is, right?
people
So
that were
why wouldn't
embodying
we question
love,
any and all
patience,
things?
kindness, understanding, and all of that before Christ even
Why
walked
wouldn't
the
we go
earth, right?
back to
I think we need to take
the
into
teachings
consideration
of people that
all
were
of this,
embodying
right?
love,
All of
patience,
the
kindness,
teachings,
understanding, all
like
of that
even with
before
Rumi,
Christ
right?
even
Wow,
walked the earth,
what an
right?
amazing
I
poet
think we need to
who
take into
embodied that concept of love. And
all of this, right?
there's
All of-
other
of-
there's
of
other
the
texts,
teachings, like
my
even with
transpersonal
Rumi, right?
psychology
Wow,
going
what an
into
amazing
different
who embodied that concept of love.
and
All of this, right?
there's
other-
more
there's other
Eastern
texts,
Eastern
my
ways of
transpersonal
philosophies and
psychology
things
going
like
into,
this, and
different,
integrating that in, and of course, I'm from America. I mean, I live here in the United States. I was born here. So I follow the true teachings of Christ. You know, maybe if I was over in the East, it might be different. But yeah, I want to talk about that because I follow a lot of people are starting to question, which is great. Maybe if I was over
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
question any and all things.
I want
Yep.
to talk about that.
That's what it's all about.
Yep, that's would be a great.
A lot of people.
And your necklace. Let me what the necklace. That's
It's
so
a
pretty.
heart. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The heart, and then this is a little heart, and this is another little heart.
Where did you get that? I love that.
I got this in
Let me what the necklace.
Spain.
It's
It's
so
a
pretty.
heart.
Ooh.
The woman there, she's making them. So
Stunning.
yeah, I know she's. I could feel her energy. She was creating things with her hands, and I thought, that's what I want.
Right, creating, right? And that's what we're moving into. People creating things from love and
She was creating things with her hands, and I thought,
and everybody has their own little their uniqueness about that. I think it's so beautiful. That's another thing. You've done a lot of traveling, so you know you're able to kind of gauge like kind of where else is good, what else is going on in the world while all this stuff is going on here. you
yeah,
know?
that's a whole episode I could.
That's
talk
a whole
about.
episode, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah, all the energy.
we got lots to talk about, but no, I think I think this is it's a good start, and I think
Yeah, that's a whole episode.
you know
I could
really
talk about.
defining
Right. Yeah.
doing this
all
love
the
series and really
we got
defining that,
lots
like
to
what
talk about,
really
but
is
no, I
love.
think,
Yeah, yeah, I'd love
Right.
to talk about Christ consciousness. I think that's
Oh
gonna bring.
yeah. Big
That's
time.
like the meat and potatoes.
It is the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, so that I can't wait. I think we can really speak more about that our next episode for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be a great thing because you know I think there are some misconceptions about things, and maybe being able to kind of give perspectives and weeding through that I think would be a good thing to kind of keep this love train going. So
maybe being able
Hey,
to kind of
great.
all right, darling. Well, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And so,
keep this love train
hey, everybody, we'll be on here next Wednesday. We're showing up.
All right,
We're showing up.
Have a wonderful day.
That's
We're
what's
showing
up.
up,
so much
and
for
we
joining
are
me. I
speaking from the
appreciate it.
heart.
And so
Yes.
And
Showing up
anybody
and showing
who's-
out.
we'll be on here
Anybody
next
who's watching
Wednesday.
this and hearing this,
We're
may you have
showing
a
up.
beautiful
We're showing
life
up.
ahead of you. You are loved. You're not alone. And we
Showing
thank
up
you.
and showing out.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you for thanking me.
Okay.
You are loved.
Ciao.
Not alone.
I love you.
And we thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank you,
Bye.
Jay.
Bye.
Thank you for thanking me.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we're just going to keep this love train going. So thank you so much for listening today. And
All right.
I'm going to actually record a podcast this week. Going to follow up on some of the
Yeah, we're just going to keep this love train going.
what I
So,
talked
thank
about
you so much
a couple
for
weeks
listening
ago with the
today,
programming.
and,
I just didn't have an
I'm
opportunity
going to
to
actually
record
record a
last week.
podcast
I had a
this
rough
week,
go
and
last
follow
week.
up on some of
Lots
the,
of
this love
processing
what I talked
things,
about
and
a couple weeks
it's a
ago with
never-ending
programming.
journey. This spiritual awakening. So, thank you so much for listening, and until next time,
processing things,
harness the shift.
It's a never-ending journey. This spiritual.